Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley and I'm here to talk about books. So today is Friday, January 9th, and it is the start of Winterween. I am filming this part of the video kind of late because I just got home from work, but I did start on my TBR already. If you're not aware, Winterween is a readathon hosted by Gabby Reads here on YouTube, and she does this readathon to just bring the vibes of Halloween and spooky season to the other seasons of the year as well. For each of these readathons, she does come out with a list of prompts to read so that you can kind of guide your TBR based off of that if you want to. If not, you can just read. I love to follow the prompts though, and she does have a rule that you can double up on prompts if you want to. Like if you find one book that fits every single one of these prompts, by all means, you can do that. But I do like to read one for each prompt, except for the first two, to read a book in the dark or at night and to read a horror thriller book. Those always are like on every readathon, and I do that all the time, so my TBR is almost always fitting those two categories. But I did pick specific books for the other three. For a book that has blood or red on the cover, I am going to read The Dead Husband Cookbook by Danielle Valentine. I have already started on this and I've gotten to like page 30 or something, so I'm really not that far into it. The book that has vampires, I picked out House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson, which has been on my TBR for so long, so I'm finally reading it now. The book that was released in 2025 that I have not gotten around to yet, I picked 1 and 4 by Lucinda. I am trying to read her entire backlist, so this is just checking off one of those books that I have left to read, which perfectly fit into this prompt. She also does merch for these readathons, and I may have ordered my merch just a little bit too late. So this is the t-shirt that I ordered, and it says that it's coming tomorrow on Saturday. So hopefully it does. Hopefully it shows up, because it would be great if it shows up during the actual readathon. These are some of my favorite t-shirts to wear. These ones from Bonfire, they're such good quality and they're so cute. I love them. I do want to jump back into the Dead Husband Cookbook, but we are going to be leaving soon to go pick up my sister who's staying the weekend. And she lives like an hour away, so I probably won't be able to read any more of this until I get home. I might read it in bed before I go to sleep. Tomorrow, Gabby is hosting Patreon only reading sprints, so I will be tuning in for that as well. And I definitely, if I don't read any more of this book tonight, I plan on getting a lot of it done during reading sprints. So if I don't see you guys tonight, then I will see you tomorrow morning.
Happy day 2 of Winterween. I hope that it's going so well.
I'm on reading sprints now. We just started on our first sprint. Yesterday I got 26 pages into this, and the writing is really easy to read, so I'm really hoping I can make some progress on this today. I have this like random paper in here as my bookmark today, so I brought a real bookmark. It's super cozy in here today. It's been actually pretty cold. Usually we don't have to put the heater on at all, and I prefer not to, but like driving to work in the morning, I have to have the heat on in my car. And then I was reading on my break at lunch the other day outside, and I was like, oh my God, I wish I brought a jacket. Like, I'm cold. But it's been like really rainy, and it did hail the other day, so it's especially cold this January. But yeah, of course, no snow or anything. Like it doesn't snow here, so we don't get that, but we did get hail. I got my coffee. I have my book. Let's get to reading because I'm ready to pick this book back up. Okay, so we just finished up on sprints and I got to page 146 of the Dead Husband cookbook. I'm really liking this so far. It's reminding me of like what the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was supposed to be for me. I know that a lot of people really love that book, and Gabby being one of the biggest fans of that book, and Haley, another one of the booktubers that I watch a lot. But I didn't like it, and I actually DNF'd it because it was not interesting to me. But this book is really pulling me in, and I'm absolutely loving where this is going. This book follows a character named Thea, who is an editor who works for a publishing company. She is on the verge of losing her job, and she's not doing so well in life. She idolizes this woman named Maria Capello, who is a very famous, infamous chef. One day, Maria's husband Damien disappears suspiciously, and he leaves a note that kind of suggests that he may have taken his own life. But the media was a frenzy because they were famous, and a lot of people were pointing the finger at Maria. There's this big rumor and conspiracy that she killed her husband and that she's using him in her food, like cooking him. Our main character, Thea, has always loved her cookbook. She's always followed these recipes and idolized this woman and watched her TV show, like her cooking TV show. One day, the company that she works for gets a publishing deal for Maria. She wants to write a memoir, and she wants to do it through this company. But the only ask that she has is, one, everything is completely kept secret until the book is published and nobody knows anything about it. And two, she wants Thea to be the person who's editing. So this is Thea's big break. She's like, this is my idol. I have been idolizing this woman forever. I'm about to lose this job, and here she is requesting me specifically. But why? Like, why me? So she is a little bit concerned, but at the same time, it's an opportunity that she cannot pass up. And so she agrees. Maria comes to the office to meet with them and talk about the deal. And she makes Thea sign an NDA, you know, not to say anything and to be completely secretive about the entirety of this project. And then she also discloses to her that she would like her to come stay on their farm while she edits the book and, you know, does her job and everything. When she gets to the farm, her phone immediately gets taken away, and she has very limited access to the internet and Wi-Fi. And this is all under the guise that, like, we don't want you to slip up. We don't want anything to happen. And for you to have contact with people and accidentally say something, you will be secluded here at this farm while you're editing this book. So she's a little bit uncomfortable with that idea, but she doesn't really have a choice, because now that she's in this contract, she cannot fuck this up. Like, she will lose her job. We're getting a bunch of little excerpts of the book thrown in here where we're seeing like Maria and where she meets Damien and how they fall in love, her pregnancy and stuff. And we're getting a lot of backstory into like them as a couple, which has been really good. And I have been hooked with this story and wanting to see what happens. This is also one of those books that has like a multimedia format in it, because we're getting the story, you know, the current day timeline. We're getting excerpts from the book that Maria is writing. We also have newsletters from back in the day when her husband disappeared. We're getting recipes that do not have human remains in them. There was one part where we had like a kind of Reddit forum post talking about like conspiracy theories surrounding this couple and everything. So there's tons of different multimedia formats in here, and I feel like it's pulling the story along very well, keeping my interest and wanting me to just fly through it and read it. So I am about halfway through, almost. While we were on sprints, I did do some like cleaning and stuff around the house and finishing putting away like Christmas decorations. I'm about to just finish doing that, and then I'm probably gonna take a shower and jump right back into this book because I'm very much enjoying myself. I wanted to show you guys because I got my t-shirt in today. So I got the dark navy, like heather navy color, and this is just so adorable. I love it, and I can't wait to wear this. I think I'm gonna wait to wear this on Monday to work because my coworkers have been asking me about Winterween. I get a lot of compliments on my other t-shirts from Gabby's Readathon, so I told them I will be getting a t-shirt for this one. I am going to finish picking up the house and, you know, getting my life sorted out, and then I'm gonna take a shower and jump back into this book. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Just checking in to say that I finished the Dead Husband cookbook, and this book was so interesting. I loved how captivated I was in this story and that it kept me on my toes the entire time. With each of the reveals and the connections that the author was like giving to us throughout the book, it had me going back and forth whether or not I thought these rumors were true. Did she kill him? Did she not kill him? Are we eating him? Like, it was so interesting, and I loved the mixed media aspect of this book, having like the recipes and the newspaper articles, the actual book that she was writing, her memoir. So yeah, I really liked this book. I'm so happy that we're starting off Winterween with a 4.5 star read. Like, that is exceptional. I also like how there was humor thrown into this book too, because while the content seems so dark on page, like when you think about what this book is about, it sounds extremely dark, but it was like done tastefully. There was just a lot going on here that I really liked. This is my second time trying to read a book from Danielle Valentine. The first one that I tried to read was Delicate Condition, and I think that one was more of like a soft DNF than an actual DNF, because the writing style was very similar in that it's like digestible and easy to read, and it's a retelling of Rosemary's Baby, so I was like really interested in reading it. But that one is a very long book, and at the time that I was trying to read it, I just wasn't prepared to read that long of a book, so I soft DNF'd it. But I think I'm going to revisit it after enjoying this one so much, because I'm interested in what else this author has written now. It's pretty late tonight, so I don't think I'm going to be starting on another book before I go to bed. But I think tomorrow I'll be starting on House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson, which I am so excited to read because I've actually been anticipating this one for a really long time. I read The Year of the Witching years ago and absolutely loved that book, gave it 5 stars. So when I heard that Alexis Henderson was coming out with another book, I immediately added this to my TBR and was like watching out for it. Back then, I think the only thing that we had was a title, and I didn't have like a premise or anything. But with how much I loved Year of the Witching, I was like, I know I'm going to have to pick that up. And then I found out it was about vampires. And I was like, okay, it'll still be on my TBR, but I don't know about vampires. So I did buy it because of how much I liked her other book. And it's been sitting on my shelf, but I just have not gotten around to reading it yet because I don't tend to gravitate towards vampires. So when I saw that that was the theme of Winterween this year, I was like, okay, I'm taking full advantage of that and I'm gonna read House of Hunger, finally. So yeah, I will be picking this book up tomorrow and I will be letting you guys know as soon as I have an update on this. I'm happy to report that so far, 32 pages in, I am really liking it, and I do like the story that this is setting up. Our main character in this book, her name is Marion, and she works as like somebody who cleans houses. She currently works for this really grouchy, particular old woman. This woman watches her like a hawk while she's cleaning to make sure that she does everything exactly how she wants it and that it's to a T exactly what she's paying for. And Marion is just really not happy with her life. She was raised in this like really poor part of town. They call it the slum. It is like the south end of this area that she lives in. I can't say for sure that I've figured out like what the actual setting is yet, but I'll get there. And then there's the north, which is where all the really rich people live, and that's where they have blood maids. So in this world, it is believed that like drinking blood to be like a cure for a lot of diseases. So the really rich people have like their blood maids, which are the women that they pick out specifically, who are very desirable. They're very pretty and young. They are well taken care of. They have a really good diet because they need to be healthy for them to be able to provide the service that they're there for. The people that Marion knows in the slums really look down on blood maids. They call them a lot of derogatory names and kind of think of them as like sex workers, and they think that what these women do are really evil. She currently lives with her brother, and they are barely skating by on the money that she's making. Her brother is very ill. Both of her parents have passed away from tuberculosis, and she has a really strained relationship with her brother. They had gotten into a lot of fights as children, but once that her parents passed away, she was the only person that he could really depend on. So she stepped up to the plate and put her negative feelings about him aside to just stick together and try to make it in life. But she can't deny that she's just extremely unhappy in the situation that she's in. Her and one of her friends, they look through like the newspaper and stuff and see the men that are posting ads out there that they want like a woman to court and that they want like a wife and stuff. And in her town, it's pretty normal for women to just get married to somebody who can provide for them and not necessarily fall in love. But Marion doesn't want that lifestyle. They're always joking like, oh, this could be your perfect man right here. But then she comes across a posting looking for a blood maid. And she's a little bit intrigued by it, but she's also scared because she's like, this is something that's completely out of my realm. Like, this is horrible. I don't know if I could do this. But at the same time, she's so desperate to get out of that lifestyle, and she says that she doesn't want to die in the slums. So she secretly replies to this ad in the newspaper, and she travels to the north and meets a man who is like a recruiter. One of the things in her like interview that she had was that he had to take a sample of her blood and taste it, and he said that her blood tasted divine and that she would be the perfect blood maid for a particular noble that he has in mind. So he's like, I want to offer you this position, but you would have to give up everything that you have in the South. Like, you would have to leave your brother and you would have to come live here. And she's like, oh, this is something that I really have to think about. I don't know if I want to take the plunge. Like, it's a really big commitment. So is it a yes or a no? Are you gonna meet me on the train? Because I have your train ticket right here and you can take this position as a blood maid tomorrow. And so she accepts. So that's kind of where I left off in this book right now, and needless to say, I'm very much intrigued and I cannot wait to jump back into it. I am so absolutely exhausted today from work though, so I'm about to make myself a cup of coffee and then I'm gonna get all cozied up on my couch and continue reading this. So I will update you guys as soon as I have thoughts. The lighting is very bad right now because I'm sitting outside of my husband's work. His car is currently getting work done on it, so he's not able to drive it at the moment, which means that we are kind of like sharing my car. but I'm picking him up from work and I came here a little bit early so that I could continue reading in the car without the fear of being late. I am absolutely loving this book right now. Like, this is reminding me of when I read The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson, and it's a very similar writing style. I don't think I like it as much as that one yet, but I could see the potential of it getting there. It's kind of like a sorority in a way, where you have to like abide by certain rules and dress a certain way and act a certain way, and they have to go to these like etiquette classes and things like that. But at the same time, it's not dark academia, which I recently discovered last year that was not something that I was very much into. This is completely different because it's not like they're in school. It's like you signed a contract, like this is your life. There's even like a house mother and stuff like that, and there's like a favorite blood maid. One of the other things that I noticed about this book too while I was reading it is that the countess who she's a blood maid for, her name is Elizabeth Bathory, and I feel like that's very much inspired by Elizabeth Bathory, who was a countess from the 1500s. She had supposedly kidnapped young women to bathe in their blood because she believed that it served health benefits for her and that it kept her looking youthful. So I feel like that was definitely an inspiration behind that main character here, which I find to be really interesting because aside from that movie Stay Alive from the 2000s, I've never really seen anywhere else where Elizabeth Bathory was like mentioned or brought up in anything. So I feel like that was really interesting to see that in here, and I'm curious to know if Alexis Henderson did intentionally like base this character off of her. I am very pleased to say that I am enjoying this book as much as I was hoping to, and that Winterween is so successful for me so far. I don't think I'm going to be reading any more of it tonight. I am just over 100 pages in, but it is now midnight and I do have to work tomorrow. So when I get home from picking up my husband, I'm probably gonna get ready for bed. And I'm going to try not to read in bed tonight because I don't want to stay up too late. This book is very hard for me to put down at the moment, so it's kind of risky to do that. Hopefully I can get some reading done while I'm at work, but if not, I'm gonna pick back up after work tomorrow. That is all from me in this horrible lighting, but I will see you guys tomorrow. So here I am at the end of day 5 with my update for the day. Right before I go to sleep, it's like just past midnight, but once that I was like getting close to the end of finishing this book, I just really had to finish it because, guys, I'm obsessed. I think this might be a 5-star. I was absolutely enthralled with this book, and when I picked it up, I couldn't put it down. I had to read it on my breaks at work, and like I was telling you guys last night, I had to drive to go pick up my husband and get there early, so I had time to continue reading this because I knew that as soon as I got home, if I kept reading it, I was not going to get any sleep. I am so happy that this worked out because I was honestly a little bit nervous since I rated Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson 5 stars like years ago, and this is still one of my favorite books that I've read. It's like on my shelf of my favorites, and then I was like, ugh, vampires, I want to try it because I loved her writing style so much, and it didn't disappoint me. Like, I really liked this. These are both very like gothic horror type books, and I think it has to just do with Alexis Henderson's writing style. I think something about the way that she writes books really works for me. This is probably the closest that I'll get to being like a fantasy reader are her books. I liked the body horror that was in here, and there was some scenes that genuinely did make me feel uneasy. Like, I am not somebody who gets queasy around blood or anything, but my own blood being drawn and stuff, like, it tends to make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's the feeling of like a needle in my arm drawing my blood that makes me really uncomfortable. And there are scenes in this book where it's like the blood maid will have a needle inserted into their arm so that they could like bleed into a bowl or a chalice or something for the countess or the count to drink. Those parts made me feel uneasy because it like took me back to times where I myself was getting my blood drawn and was like, I can't look. I'm uncomfortable with that. It's very rare for books to actually give me like a physical reaction to reading scenes like that. So I just find like random things here and there where a book will touch on something and I'm like, oh, that makes me uncomfortable. And that happened in this one for sure. But another thing that I thoroughly enjoyed with this book was that I felt like there was so many themes and like underlying messages in it about poverty and classism. I don't think I mentioned it in previous updates with this book, but with the blood maids, there's like a whole hierarchy system. The one who the count or countess would favor their blood more than like the other ones because it was sweeter tasting. There's also a sort of connection or relationship between like the blood maid and the count or countess, and they have like their order of the blood maids that they would prefer. So there's like an entire hierarchy system here. Even the people that are literally being feasted on and used for like food and consumption, they even have like their own classes. Something that I didn't know going into this is that this is a sapphic story as well, which I am kind of finding out that that's something that a lot of my favorite books that I've been reading recently, specifically horror, have in common, like Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson and To Be Devoured by Sarah Tantlinger. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think I do have to give this book 5 stars just because of how much I enjoyed reading it and just the overall experience. Like, I couldn't wait to pick it up. And once that I did pick it up, I didn't want to put it down. And that is definitely a sign of a 5-star book for me. Obviously, I loved it and I had a lot of thoughts about it. It was really intriguing and I just love her writing style. So yeah, Alexis Henderson, can you give me more of this, please? Thank you. On that note, I am going to bed, and tomorrow I think I'm going to start on 1 and 4 by Lucinda Berry for the 2025 release prompt, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Today I started reading 1 and 4 by Lucinda Berry, and I got to chapter 8 on the audiobook while I was working. So when I get home today, I'm probably going to continue reading it on my Kindle. But I can say so far, I'm not really sure about this book. Like, I don't really know how much I like it. This one is pretty different than a lot of the Lucinda Berry books that I've read. It centers around this reality TV show where these childhood stars have fallen into addiction and they essentially are in like this recovery program, but it's all televised on TV. The cameras are rolling 24/7. Everything that these people do are being televised on TV, and it's a really big hit because a lot of people love celebrities and drama. The main character's name is Laurel, and she's kind of like the therapist for the household, so she takes a really big part on this TV show because she counsels all of these people in their recovery from their addictions. But one night this show like blows up and it's all over the news, and it's because one of the stars in the show dies on TV, since it's like live footage. Now the situation is being investigated by the police because there's just so much media attention on this show to begin with, but now that there's been a murder on the show, it's like even more so. We're following Laurel as she's like trying to seek out the truth about what happened. The other thing too is that Laurel has a past of her own. She is also a recovered addict, which is a common thing when you see like people that are in sobriety programs and stuff. A lot of the times they'll have like sponsors and things like that, because people who are going through recovery tend to trust other people who know what they're going through more. But some of the details of this murder just look really suspicious and almost like it was planned by somebody to boost the views on the show. So she is taking it upon herself to kind of try to figure out what happened, because she knows she didn't do anything, and the leads that the police are following are taking them directly to her. So she wants to find out the truth on her own. I don't really know how I feel about this book so far. I could see the potential for it getting a lot better and for me liking it more, but as of right now, like, it's okay, and I don't know. It's not my favorite Lucinda Berry that I've read. Most of the time her stories will grip me like right from the start. But I think this one, with like all of the celebrities and the stardom and the TV and everything, like I just don't know if this is something that I really like, but we'll see. I'm still gonna keep reading it. I still want to finish it because I am trying to finish her backlist. Right now, I just got off of work and I'm stopping at the grocery store just because I need to get some stuff for the house. When I get home, I'll probably cook some dinner and then continue reading this on my Kindle. So it is the last day of Summerween. I just finished reading 1 and 4 by Lucinda Berry. I don't think that this was my favorite Lucinda Berry by like a stretch. It wasn't my least favorite. I definitely had one other book that I can think of that I liked less than this one. It felt kind of generic to me and I felt like it was pretty predictable. There were some choices that were made in this book that were pretty bold and that were very her style. So I was like, wow, okay, this does have like Lucinda Berry vibes to it, but I still felt like it was just not my type of read. I think I'm gonna end up giving it like 2 stars because it wasn't my favorite book by any means, and because of it being written by her, I definitely had way higher of expectations. I also was waiting to figure out like what this title was about because it seemed like a random title to me, but it actually refers to the statistic because this book does talk a lot about sexual assault. 1 in 4 women will be sexually assaulted during their lifetime. So I found that to be really interesting. I feel like this vlog is kind of funny because it has like 2 different types of celebrity books that show you exactly what my taste is, because there is the Dead Husband Cookbook, which followed a celebrity chef, and that one was more like dark and comedic and not so much about her having this like really extravagant beautiful life, but like the things that she did that were fucked up. And then this book also has that aspect to it, but it also follows quite a few celebrities and it's on a reality TV show. So there are those different things in there. And then I also mentioned earlier in this vlog, I DNF'd the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo before. And that's like the type of celebrity book that I am not into, like, especially a fake celebrity. Like if it were a memoir from a real celebrity, that would be kind of different. But when it's like a fake one and you just get to see like how fancy their life is and it's all not real, like none of it, it's all made up. It just doesn't feel realistic and it doesn't feel like something that I can relate to. So yeah, that's a kind of thing about my taste that I'm figuring out as I go on this reading journey. That comes to an end for Winterween for me. Very, very happy that I finally got to read House of Hunger and that I gave myself a reason to finally pick it up and that it did exceed my expectations by a lot. And that just that made the entire Winterween for me. Let me know if you participated in Winterween. I'm very interested to see what you read. As always, if you like this video, please don't forget to like it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!